It's spring break, baby!
In Florida.
For the second time in 3 months.
So this time we went to Disney.
This trip was all in Orlando.
Went to Pop Century Hotel and stayed there the whole time. Went to all the different parks, well, most of the different parks.
The first park that we went to was Hollywood Studios, and it's the first time we've been there since they opened up the Star Wars area.
And I was really excited to get a reservation to build a droid. I wanted to get one for lightsabers also. I was refreshing over and over again. Finally got the droid reservation.
Elliot got to go in and they picked out all the colors they wanted on this little like conveyor belt. And then they went over to this other little area. So you got to like put it together and everything.
They're pretty cool.
What do you think, dude? Does he work good? What's the red button do? You can turn his head?
Very cool.
Yeah, I think that was one of Elliot's highlights of the day.
We also got to make a plastic lightsaber.
Which one would you like? There you go.
This is Elliot's lightsaber. So they had like a kids section where you could build lightsabers. He wanted to make it kind of like
He loves
Kylo
the
Ren's,
villains.
but so we rode a lot of the Star Wars rides. We didn't get to do Rise of Resistance. We did do Millennium Falcon, which was probably the longest line that we waited in. But it was worth it. I think Elliot was a little scared because he didn't know what to expect, but once he got on the ride, he loved it.
And Elliot and Nick got to be the pilots, is that what they call
Yeah.
it? And then I was in the back as a gunner. And it was really crazy with Elliot flying.
Yeah, we definitely ran into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we also rode Star Tours again. So Mandy was the spy this time around. Elliot and Mandy have done it so far.
Yeah. Right when we came in, Nick and Elliot raced back to the droid area because they had to be there like an hour early or something like that to check in. And so I ran in and I was like, I'm going to try Slinky Dog. I thought it was fun, but I was trying to imagine it like, would Elliot like this? So I was also kind of a little scary. I was like, ooh, this is a little fast. So.
Yeah, a lot of the whole Toy Story area was new. Like, we hadn't
Yeah.
seen that either. While we checked in for the droid, we went and rode the new, I'm going to
Anyways.
call it Alien Spin. Because
yeah.
it was like aliens and you spin around or something. It was something spin. And I think we rode it like 3 times
Yeah.
because we were there so early.
The food in the Toy Story area, the dessert there, they had this like Pop-Tart and it was so good. I was like, we need to come back like and have 4 more of these.
So one of the other new rides that we had to ride was the Mickey Railway.
Runaway Railway.
Yeah.
Yes!
And
I almost forgot. They kind of take you through a couple different waiting areas and there's like a movie that plays and you get blown around by a tornado and it's kind of like a roller coaster, but you move from room to room. And
Yeah, you're like
it
on a
moves
little
up and
car.
down. And this trip, we got to go to Epcot.
It was the first time we've ever been there.
It was so cool.
So we rode almost every ride. Like, we definitely rode every ride that Elliot would ride. We did do Figment and Living with the Land. I think those two were kind of some of our favorites.
So I loved how Living with the Land takes you through like the garden area and they have all these hidden Mickeys. I think Ellie would have loved that when he was younger because there were so many hidden Mickeys and all the plants and stuff. I really liked Living with the Land because it was like plants and stuff like that. And while we were there at Epcot, they had the Flower and Garden Festival.
Yeah.
But so they had all these like giant topiaries of plants that were beautiful. So 2 thumbs up for me. Elliot has been wanting to go on that Figment ride like for years.
Yeah, ever since the first time we went to Disney, he's like, I want to go on the ride with the scientists. We also rode Spaceship Earth. That was really cool. Elliot was a little scared because it's a pretty big hill you go up.
They have like little animations, like they take your picture and then they put your head on these little like animations, and he really liked that.
So I'd say one of the scariest rides that we went on was the Frozen ride. I didn't look up anything about it because I was like, it's Frozen. Like, it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
And it ended up being kind of like a log flume-ish thing.
And then there's this part in it, not to spoil it, but you're like in the dark, and we started going backwards, and we were just like, I was like losing my mind. Like, oh my gosh, Elliot is never going to trust us. He's never going to ride any rides.
He actually was okay on the drops. And then when we got off, he's like, I want to do it
I
again.
want to go again. Yeah. One of the other rides that we really liked there was Ratatouille. It's back in the French section. They have a Ratatouille fountain. And it's kind of like the Roomba. You know, you ride on a little car and it wheels you around. It was very cool and very interactive.
But we did get to go to Paris.
We went to Paris. Yeah, and we decided to try to get croissants.
We decided.
I decided.
She wanted to get croissants. Me and Elliot probably just wanted to get going.
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh, I
we
think
waited in
we
line
waited
for that almost as long as the Millennium Falcon.
Oh my gosh, it was such a long line. I don't know what I was thinking, but...
We did get to take a short trip on the monorail, too, while we were at Epcot. We just went around the little loop that goes around Epcot.
That was pretty cool because we got to see like some of the stuff that they were working on because there was a lot of construction when we were there.
So we ended the day at Epcot with watching the fireworks show. They do the little thing on the lake, and it's got like lights and like projections on the water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The last park we went to was Magic Kingdom. And it was kind of a rainy day. There was definitely, in the middle of the day, this huge downpour, and everybody was, I think at a time we were on the People Mover.
Which is perfect.
And we were just watching other people run around, and then we got off the ride, and then we
like,
were running around.
We have to go out in this. We ended up going to Casey's, and they have like little areas that are covered with umbrellas, so that worked out really well.
And we got to catch a little bit of the rainy day parade.
We got to see all of the 50th anniversary stuff that they had out.
And the castle was all decked out.
Yeah.
And we got to see one of our favorite YouTubers going down the escalator on the People Mover. We saw Tim Tracker.
We get up to the top, and I'm looking around, just like not even looking for people. But I turn around, and I see this guy, and he's wearing that jacket. I don't know. It's like a jacket that I knew that it was him. Like, I knew it was him. And I'm like, Nick, it's him. And I go, Tim. And he like turned, and he was looking around, but he didn't see us. But I was like, that's him.
And then we had to like make a beeline for the exit so we could try to catch up with him, and then we never did. But so Elliot was mad because we didn't ride the ride.
Oh,
but
only Elliot. You weren't mad.
But we rode the People Mover like 5 or 6 times.
So we found out later that he left and went on the Speedway.
Yeah. So speaking of the Speedway, though, Elliot was just tall enough so that he could ride his own car, and then we like followed behind him in a separate car.
And so when we got up there, the guy was like, "Let me measure you," and I was like, "Why is he measuring him? He's clearly tall enough to ride with us." No, because he could ride on his own. I didn't even think of that. It's like sad.
He also rode Dumbo by himself.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've never done at Magic Kingdom before was go to Tom Sawyer Island, and we got to do that this time.
Elliot said that was his favorite thing this time we went to Magic Kingdom.
The main thing that he really liked was that he could run around, because we were like kind of getting tired, and we were like, we're just going to sit here and you can kind of run around, because we knew he couldn't go too far without us. And so he was like running around and playing in the caves.
And like little bridges that you could walk on and all kinds of stuff like that. So we stayed at Pop Century. And we got to explore all of the different pools. This time we spent most of the time in the main flower pool because that was closer to where our room was. But we also went over back to the computer pool for a little bit and spent a good amount of time in the bowling pin pool.
But you gotta tell me how much you love me on camera.
5 million trillion.
Ooh, I'm gonna show this at your wedding. So we found out when we checked in that they had like daily activities, and one of them was making slime.
We also tried to visit the Contemporary, but they weren't letting people in this time for some reason, I don't know. But on the way back to our hotel, we noticed that we could go to Art of Animation, so we at least went over there to check that out a little bit, because we've never stayed there, and that might be the next place we stay when we go to Disney.
It was really cool inside there.
Yeah, it was very similar to Pop Century. When we weren't going to the parks, we did a few other little activities around town.
So we went to Disney Springs, of course. Had to go there. Look how pretty it is. We have those outside of our house.
What?
Those yellow and with the orange middles.
Yeah?
Those ones we have at our house.
Oh my God.
That's lavender.
Yeah?
These ones we used to have in the front, and you got mad because you didn't like them.
I don't like
These
them.
are petunias.
What about...
This right here we have in that side of our house. This is a hydrangea.
Yeah? Okay, what about that? Do we have that?
We don't. So we had Sprinkles cupcakes. They have like a cupcake ATM. We just went inside, but it was really cool.
And then we also went to Everglazed, which was like these giant donuts.
Yeah, that was a new one. I think that had just opened, and they were really good. We knew they had a Ron John's there. And Nick is obsessed with this hair gel. It's Sunbum hair gel.
And then we also walked a little further than we do in Disney Springs and found that there's a couple more Disney stores that we didn't know about. One of them was like a Star Wars store, and I was bummed that when we went to Hollywood Studios, I didn't get one of the thermal detonator Cokes. They had a bunch of them at the store, so we ended up getting one there. So here's my thermal detonator Coke that we got. We did see the back of Tim Tracker. We also tried to stalk Adam the Woo.
You make it sound so creepy.
Yeah, this is totally it. It's like we're at Adam the Woo right now.
Celebration.
Welcome everyone. Adam the Woo. Right there. We went to Celebration hoping that maybe we'd catch a glimpse of them. Later we found out I think the trackers were there right before we got there.
Can you believe it?
And then, but we didn't see Adam at all. But we did get to see like the post office where he had his post office box. And
yeah, so this was at the time when Adam was doing like these, he was giving away stickers. You just had to mail a thing. And Nick was like, oh, I know where the post office is. We should go see if he's there getting his mail.
Yeah.
He wasn't, but... So on our drive back, we decided to break up the drive a little bit and stay one night in Jacksonville and have a day on the beach.
Comes with Elliot, and then we got a king size bed. Fancy. This size bed. A TV and stuff. Ta-da. And then the best part. The view. It was pretty cold in the water, but we did have fun on the beach still. Elliot built this town of sandcastles. Okay, tell me.
So that says Beachville, and then right here, it's the entrance to the town. So this is the mountain house, the eagle view.
It's what?
That's the eagle view.
The eagle view?
House, yeah.
Okay. And what else do we have?
Which is the one that we share. Me, you, and Mommy share it.
Is that house?
Yep, that house.
Okay,
and
what else?
That's your house.
That's my house.
These are tiny houses.
Cool.
And then there's some more.
Okay.
So that's the Mickey Lake. So if you follow this road all the way, you'll see this house, which looks quite destroyed, and it is. It's abandoned. And this house is my, it's my vacation house.
Okay.
So if you go back down the road, you'll see more houses in town. This one is my normal house.
Okay.
And there's some roads over there. This is my quarry house.
Where's Mommy's house?
I told her to make one.
No, she didn't make one?
Right there, next to my house.
Okay.
Right there.
I'll let Mommy have that one. And they also had a really nice pool there that had this kind of cave thing next to it, and we were throwing our ball through there, and Ellie was trying to catch it through the hole, and they also had basketball in the pool.
Oh yeah, they had a net. I think there's normally always a waterfall, but it was turned off.
So I do think it was nice this time that we just did Disney. Previous times we've tried to do Legoland and Disney all at the same time and go to the beach and all this stuff. It was nice to just do a full-out Disney trip.
And I do think that made it much more relaxing, and we were able to really enjoy the time that we were there instead of running all over the place.